What's up, everybody? Jeremiah here. Sorry for the voice again. And today in this video we're going to be reacting. American schools are making kids violent by our boy Love Halal. Especially in these public schools. I don't know about private schools, but especially in these public schools, these kids be acting crazy, bro. Like, heck, if I do this, God forbid, if I did this stuff, I would have been expelled. With these kids, I went to private school too. I went to Catholic school. If I was in the Catholic school, I would have been expelled off the premises immediately. Well, I think it's just public school. Public schools, man, it's just different. So without further ado, let's just react to the video, shall we?
Back in high school or middle school, I remember one of the greatest experiences of all time was taking a sick day. Well, that was until I realized I missed out on some of the greatest experiences ever witnessed by mankind. For example,
that never happened to me. I went to school every single day.
Either the most random music artist would show up on campus, give a performance, or the craziest Royal Rumble, WWE, UFC type of fight took place, and I missed out on somebody getting smashed by a chair in a cage match or something. And don't get me wrong, it was bad that I missed out, but the worst part isn't even the fact that I missed out on the action, it's the fact that I had to watch the footage back on the worst, most pixelated device I have ever imagined. It looked like somebody brought their smart TV from their home, a toaster oven, or a goddamn iPod Nano and recorded it. But looking back at it in hindsight, at the firm old age as I am now of 22 years old, I'm thinking back like, bro, there was low-key a lot of fights, okay? Almost too many. But if I thought it was bad back then, it's getting really bad right now. Would you believe me if I told you that actually school fights, school incidents, or school violence has been on an increase of about 300%? According to this article I discovered right here, the number of violent incidents has increased more than 300% from the first year of data collection in 2016 to 2017 to the most recent school year in 2023 to 2024. And then for more context, violent incidents in schools appear to have declined from 2023 to 2024. However, when false reports such as swatting are removed from calculations, there's an actual increase of 49% in number of violent incidents in 2023 to 2024 when compared to the previous year. But 49% is quite a lot. Incidents related to violence and posing the most critical risk for students increased 22% during the 23 to 24 school year. Of these incidents posing the most critical risk, 13% involved a weapon or threat of a deadly weapon. Incidents related to violence increased 21% for elementary, 14% for middle school, and 20% among high school. So this is all across the board, okay? Your little cousin Tommy, your little cousin Timmy in elementary school was like 5, 6, 7 years old. He might be getting it on. He might be a little pipsqueak, a squirt, somebody that you can stuff inside of a toilet and give a swirly, but he's out here getting active in elementary school fighting other students. Same goes for middle school and high school as well. I actually would have thought high school was the highest percentage, but having elementary being the highest percentage kind of makes sense a little bit because elementary school students probably deal with their emotions in the worst way possible and probably don't know how to self-regulate, especially if they have some lackluster millennial parents. I'm sorry. 11.6% increase in weapons were found on school grounds. 2,275 different weapon incidents were reported by the Washington's public private schools. Other reports involved knives, daggers.
Private schools? What? 2023 school year 2000. Public and private schools, bro.
75 different weapon incidents were reported by the Washington's public private schools. Other reports involved knives, daggers, or other weapons. Besides just looking at the statistics, of course, they're going to be extremely alarming, but usually when I see statistics, I always think, okay, is it just a stat? Is it something that we've experienced? Bro, there are entire compilations of school fights that I damn near see every single day, like school crash outs, whether that's the teacher crashing out on the students crashing out on the teachers, or the students fighting each other. There is always something going down. As a matter of fact, there are entire sections in Discords that are labeled school fights that showcase some of the chaotic events that happen within those walls that we know as school. As a matter of fact, I don't even have to go to very far on Discord. Literally in my very own Discord server. And immediately on site, another example. That is definitely not getting showed. What type of goofy fight is this, bro? Bro, y'all are better off just holding hands and making up, bro. See, this almost looks like they were fighting for fun. Back in my school, there was events. People would just do slap boxes during lunchtime just for fun. For the fun of it, bro. You're risking getting suspended, expelled, injured, or just straight up getting exposed for taking an L on Snapchat or Instagram stories. But besides just straight up fighting videos, I remember seeing videos of people throwing Chromebooks, people arguing with teachers, people throwing chairs.
I've seen this so frequently, bro.
other crazy violent behavior within those school walls. There still is a lot of bullying going on. Contrary to popular belief, sometimes I heard that people don't believe in bullying, or matter of fact, even worse, people are saying we need to bring back bullying. Like, no, we don't, bro. I'm about to show you a couple clips that really show and put bullying into perspective.
Quaden was bullied almost every single day for being different, and it got so bad to the point where he doesn't want to live anymore.
Bang my head into gloves.
Bring back bullying, but this was my sister every day before entering school. Any night before going to bed. Oh, sheesh. No, this is serious.
Look, I'm gonna come to your lunch, okay? I'm gonna come to your lunch.
There are actually so many kids who genuinely fear going to school because they feel like they're risking their life and putting their safety on the line just because they're existing and being themselves among the classroom. You don't understand. If you look different, if you seem different, especially if you're special ed or you're on the spectrum, people will make fun of you for the way you laugh, the way you look, the way you talk, the way you act, the way you breathe. There is so much ableism going on within schools. And regarding more information or statistics around the concept of bullying, in case you thought that bullying might have died down or bullying is not as bad as it used to be, from July 2021 to December 2023, 34% of teenagers were bullied in the last 12 months. Rounding down, that's about 3 out of 10 students experiencing bullying. And if that's the case, how many kids are actually being the perpetrators of bullying? It's also important to note that if you were gay or you were transgender, you were much more likely to be bullied at 47%. White, non-Hispanic teenagers were more likely to be bullied compared to teenagers in other racial groups. Teenagers with disabilities, as I said before, 44%. 19% of students reported being bullied during the 2021 to 2022 school year. Among students who reported being bullied, 14% of males and 28% of females reported being bullied online or by text. So number one, first things first, I want to say this 19% is actually probably a lot higher, because you know how many people are actually getting bullied and don't want to report it because they don't want to seem soft or they don't want to get other people involved. Oftentimes when you're victim of really any type of harmful experience that feels like you're threatening your safety and potentially even putting yourself in more danger by reporting these bullies, because let's face it, bro, a lot of times when you do report a bully, what really happens? Do they get expelled? Do they get suspended? I don't know. They probably get a slap on the wrist, and then you won't see that same big obnoxious bully the next day in school, okay? He might take it out on you even worse, or she. And then another thing that's interesting is they reported being bullied online or by text. That's one thing I feel like is more of an issue within today's day, because you know we're in the digital age. I mean, nowadays it's very, very easy to just send somebody some slurs online, send somebody some hate, spam them, tell their friends to also spam them. Like, I imagine how cyberbullying has gotten really, really bad and out of hand, especially when a lot of kids are given unsupervised access to technology. I mean, kids are on TikTok, Discord, social media, anything you can think of, they're all there. They're watching the most crazy videos. I mean, back in the day, bro, the first person to show me adult content was a kid in middle school. The first person to show me a cartel video was also a kid in middle school. Brief admission, if you're enjoying the video so far, please make sure you subscribe to the channel. We're on the road to 200,000 subscribers. Also, make sure you go ahead and subscribe to the second channel right here. Hey, hello, we're dropping videos every single day. We're on the road to 100,000 here as well. And while I was doing research for this video, especially in the concept of bullying, one thing that really stood out to me is the fact that, okay, there are so many kids who report on bullying or who did get bullied, and we know about bullying. I mean, we all went through that time in school where we got some type of assembly that talked about bullying. But the truth is, teachers only intervene in about 14% of classroom bullying. That statistic shows right here, and says only 14% of playground episodes of bullying. School staff is generally unaware of the extent of bullying and victimization problems, even though much of bullying occurs on the playground, hallways, classrooms, locker rooms. I think kids who are bullies are also really good at, you know, hiding it or disguising it around other people, and then they'll go as soon as the freaking teacher doesn't look and then shove you in a locker. I mean, I'm gonna be honest, if you're getting shoved in a locker in 2025, I'm gonna look at you a little crazy. That's how bullying only happens in the goddamn movies. Real bullying looks a lot different, okay? Sometimes it's making fun of the way you dress, sometimes it's making fun of the way you have no money, which was, hey, that happened to me. I mean, if you ever had the experience of dropping your Android phone in the middle of class and your battery coming out, your screen cracking, and everybody in the class laughing at you, hey, I know exactly what that feels like. Some of y'all will never know the pain of coming to school with holes in your shoes, clothes, and being like, oh, this is just for the fashion, bro. It's not for the fashion. I'm getting hand-me-downs from my generations, uncles, cousins, brothers, mom, sisters, dad. A kid coming up to me back in the day telling me, give me your lunch money, hurts less than somebody coming up and clowning the fact that I had no money, bro. That is real bullying, I swear. Teachers are only able to accurately identify fewer than 1/2 of bullies identified by peers. Parents are often similarly unaware of the extent of bullying and victimization, and they do not discuss bullying with their children. The way people talk about bullying is a little bit outdated to an extent. Like, I'm telling you, bullying is not just pushing somebody.
Hey, that's some nice books you got over there. Boom. Beat it, chump.
People bully in all types of ways, whether that's online now, which is obviously very, very much impossible to catch if you're a teacher, and different altercations that happen in the natural flow of classroom or passing period between going class to class. Also, when kids are getting bullied, 9 times out of 10, I feel like they're not gonna come out and talk to a damn teacher, okay? I had a friend who was telling me, bro, I tried to talk to a teacher, and the teacher just looked at me crazy. My thought process, I'm like, bro, aren't these teachers supposed to be like mandated reporters? But it really feels like teachers don't really understand, bro, especially if they don't come from the same type of cloth as you. So odds are the children is gonna come out and talk to their parents, but a lot of times, you know, parents will dismiss it.
The teachers always here to be I don't learn nothing. They don't feed us nothing at lunch.
Why are you talking about these teachers be putting names? These teachers don't do nothing to you. If you get bullied, you need to go talk to somebody about it. You need to go talk to a psychiatrist or something about it. Don't come to me trying to come to me and cry about somebody bullying you. Ain't no dropping out of school. Ain't no dropping out of school. You're gonna stay in school. You're gonna do what you gotta do. No, because I'm paying for the school, so you're gonna stay in the school. I don't care what you're going through. I don't care what you in there doing. What you in there doing?
Nothing.
When you leave my house, that's when you can move how you want to move. So then get out. No. Get out of my house.
And I feel like as a kid, a lot of times if you're not being heard out by your parents, that really shuts you off from talking to anybody else in the rest of the world, because those are the people who are supposed to hear you out the most. And it's so weird. Some people will take the side of the faculty, the staff, or even the bully, because like you don't even know them, bro. That's low-key D-riding, bro. You glaze into somebody you never even met before. Believe your own goddamn kid. Plus, why would I lie about being bullied? I already lose aura from explaining the fact that I'm being bullied. Coming out and saying that you're getting bullied, there's no swag behind that. There's no swag behind that, man. Now that we noticed the phenomenon of violence in schools and a very large uprising in school fights, school bullying, etc., I want to talk about why this might be happening. The pandemic took place. Gen Z, we lost out on a crucial maybe like 2 to 3 years. I really feel like since 2020 through about 2023, we really felt the effects of the pandemic, and that was when we were about to graduate high school. Especially for Gen Alpha and kids these days, those 2-3 years were maybe when they were in 5th, 6th, 7th grade, maybe even younger. Those are very, very impactful or important when you're developing social skills, emotional regulation, connection, etc. So the fact that maybe they had bad parents, maybe they were stuck on technology, maybe they didn't learn how to connect with people at a young age, kind of turns them into more unstable people, makes it harder for them to learn how to regulate their emotions, which maybe makes a more angry or violent generation. I think that, coupled with the idea of social media, like for example, school fights, people record school fights, people participate in school fights because they go viral, they go so crazy, they want to get that internet fame. If you whoop somebody crazy in school fights, everybody gonna know you as the backyard legend. Maybe I'm looking a little bit too deep, but I feel also like trends such as rage bait kind of exasperate issues of cyberbullying in a way among kids. The other day I seen a grown man talking about CP and saying,
"Oh, chill, bro. It's just rage bait."
Watch out, little bitch. Watch out, little bitch.
Yo, am I finna get a little cut out of y'all videos? I just got you 1 million cut. Where's my cut? I'm not playing.
And things like that are insane, right? But when kids see stuff like this online, they might go ahead and run off with it, whether that's in people's DMs. I mean, I get the most crazy comments all the time about people calling me a fried chicken and rice enjoyer and things like that because, oh, black and Asian. And I'm just like, bro, so some of these kids are already a little angry, a little bit ruthless, have maybe poor mental health, were heavily disrupted by the effects of the pandemic. Maybe they have bad parents, and they're seeing a lot of social media trends that normalize saying crazy stuff to people that might exasperate the issues such as cyberbullying or real life bullying. I feel like since the beginning of time, there's also been people who say, oh, like violence and video games are correlated. Maybe if your kid plays violent games or they consume violent media, they're going to become more violent. And I don't know if this was actually proven to be the case. I mean, I played a lot of violent games when I was a kid. I don't think it turned me.
Kind of me the same. I don't think that study's true. You play violent games, you're gonna turn out to be a violent kid. I don't think that's true. When your upbringing kind of, but games, I do not know. That's kind of in my opinion, I don't think that's true.
To a violent person. It showed me that this type of stuff was only meant to be fiction and not real life. But I could see how other people who maybe are not on that same maturity might practice things that they see in the game and do it in real life, or say things that they see online and do it in real life. And speaking more about what they see in real life, there is definitely things like, oh, community gun violence, maybe gang violence, domestic violence within households that cause kids to replicate that.
Children who witness domestic violence in the home are significantly more likely, in some studies 5 to 10 times more likely, to be the victim of intimate partner violence in their adult relationships or the perpetrator of violence in their adult relationships.
You know what? Recently I've been seeing, oh, kids need to be whooped more these days, or kids are not getting whooped more these days. But actually it's proven that kids being whooped or physically disciplined / punished actually makes a more violent or dangerous child.
Researchers found that children who were spanked were more likely to have an increased rate of negative outcomes. This includes antisocial behavior, aggressive behavior, and long-term mental health problems. But also, interestingly, children who were spanked were also more likely to exhibit a negative impact on cognitive development, demonstrating overall lower IQ scores and overall poorer academic performance.
And it makes sense because low-key, I feel like whooping a kid after they do something bad shows them that violence is the answer. Literally. They're gonna grow up subconsciously thinking that, oh, whenever somebody does something bad, the real answer is putting your hands on them because that is what your parents did to you.
I've been beaten before, yes. I haven't been before. I do see the outcome of that. I'm mixed on that feeling though. I really am mixed on that. To be honest with you, I've gotten beaten as a kid too, and I haven't like, I've been like more introverted on that aspect of it. Got some negative thoughts, but passed. But some people can be different though. People can be different though. So I'm to be honest, to be safe with this, I'm mixed. Well, there's some justifiable reasons of getting beaten, but there's other justifiable reasons of not getting beaten, or as beating your kid is not the answer to it. Like talking to your kid, yeah, sure, why not? And realizing your kid, telling your kid like, oh, actually, right, your actions have consequences. Yeah, sure. But like always relying on the beating your kid aspect of it, it's not always the answer. That's just a scapegoat. If you're consistently doing it, alright, bro, then like, come on, bro. You gotta find a better way. Because too aggressive, because like, it's doing it a lot, that might be close to abusiveness. But like, gentle parenting, that's not good either. So there's gotta be a balance to it. Gentle parenting and the discipline aspect of it, there's gotta be a balance. There has to be a balance. I say it, in my opinion, if I had kids or if I'm like going to be a parent, I have to make sure it's in the balance aspect of it. Add gentle parenting, and plus add the discipline to it. So it's balance. It's all the time. Balance. Gentle parenting plus the discipline. So it's just, for me, balance. All the time. Balance.
Another interesting concept is the lack of faculty and staff within schools. Nowadays, as we know, teachers are not enjoying their time, okay? They're getting into it with the kids, they're arguing with kids, they're experiencing undisciplined, lackluster students, and they don't want to do this job. I'm not gonna lie, if I had kids like this who couldn't read, who couldn't write, and they were just being disruptive in my class, I would be crashing out the same.
I fucking hated teaching. Not all teachers should get paid more. I was high sometimes. Yeah, there was one moment where I was like, F this job, I hate this. And one of my students came up to me and he goes, Mr. Yu, what would you do if your son was gay? I was like, I wouldn't care if my son was gay as long as he was like with someone that made him happy and treated him right. And I thought like I taught him a lesson because he stopped and paused for a second and he just goes, that's gay.
With incidents like these, among the low pay, there is probably going to be a shortage in faculty, which will lead to more violence on campus because there's just not nearly enough adults to supervise 1,000 more students. I mean, in my high school, they had 2,000 students, and it got to the point where we needed armed security on campus, bro. At the end of the day, all of this behavior really starts at home. Making sure they're able to regulate their emotions is not the responsibility of a goddamn teacher, okay? If you're a parent watching this video, yo, make sure you lock in on your child. We don't need more violent kids because we are already experiencing that. And it's not just me saying this. I mean, really nowadays, it feels like a lot of parents either don't have time or they straight up don't care. Like, there are times as a grown adult, right, I'll be walking around and I'll see kids who are supposed to be in school and it's like, bro, what are you doing at this time of day? Like, do you not have somewhere to be? And this is actually a phenomenon that a lot of people online are starting to notice.
Every time I turn around, these kids are not in fucking school. It's like a new made-up fucking holiday every fucking day.
In conclusion, kids are becoming more violent. There's more bullying going around, more damaged goods, more damaged property, which I didn't even really talk about the property, like the Chromebook challenge and things like that. With the violent kids, it feels like parents are kind of giving up in a way. They don't care as much. We're also seeing a drop off and decline in the amount of teachers that are participating or want to take jobs. Social media glamorizing fight culture, violence, school weaponry incidents being on the uprise, and other weird trends that glorify bringing back bullying. It is no surprise that school fights are on the rise and school violence is on the rise. But let me know what you think down below in the comment section. Have you noticed, if you're a kid in school right now, high school, middle school, or even for some reason elementary school when you're watching this video, let us know in the comment section down below if you're noticing a rise, if you're seeing a bunch of school fights, you're seeing cyberbullying going on. But that's gonna do it for today's video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, join videos, link in the description. With that being said, have a great rest of your day. It's Love Hello, I love you, and I'm out.
Shout outs to him, bro. This was actually a good video that you made. Shout outs to Love Hello. In my opinion, yeah, you gotta teach. I mean, yes, gotta be doing something. I think it just starts at the home, because you know, like maybe like most of these kids are not growing up with dads in the home, so it's like that can have a big impact on it. Also, what he said about the beating kid, for me, I should say balance it out. Gentle parenting plus the discipline, balance it out. Just balance it out. I say balance it out. Just sometimes, yeah, you gotta get that whooping, but other times it's like, yo, come on, it's gonna be alright. I say balance it out. Mix those two together, and you got a good blend of a balance of it. That's for me. But yeah, I feel like it just starts at home, and when the home, in fact, when I say it starts at the home, it starts at the home. It really does start at the home. It really does start at the home. The link in the video will be in the description. All that being said, Mr. Jeremiah, God bless you. Jesus loves you. Repent. Be saved. I'm out. Peace.